Okay.
Do you see yourself?
I see myself. It's weird to see yourself. That's the thing. We're seeing if it's going to go live on YouTube now.
Also did you send out the link?
So if you're gonna go live on YouTube, so then you don't need my phone. I'm just.
Looks like it's live on YouTube now. I don't know how this works. This considered live on YouTube. Is that live on YouTube? I don't even know.
You're not live yet.
One watching now.
Create.
Here. No, can't do that.
There you are.
Save the chat.
This is trying a high.
You're good.
I think you would create, no? Oh, you are live now.
Okay. All right, shall we? I assume we can go on YouTube and take out part of this beginning file, which is a waste of time anyway. Right? You can probably take it out. Okay. Let's go, shall we? So we're in Hilchos Pesach, Siman Tov Ayin Beis, in this print of the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. It's on page Shin Samach Vav. Siman Tov Ayin Beis are the halachas of the Seder, which we started already last week. Did some of the halachas at the beginning. We concluded last week with halacha Yud Dalid, and we're just going to review that again, and then because it continues into halacha Tezvav, so we'll review that again. And a few people asked me, I don't know if they saw the link on Spotify or other places. They asked, "Well, Hilchos Pesach already? It's not even Purim yet." So I pointed out, as I think Nir pointed out last week. What do you mean? It was in the Parsha, the 4 languages of redemption: Vayitzeisi, Vitzalti, V'Ga'alti, V'Lakachti. The 5th language of Hevesi, which is why some people say that you should actually have 5 cups. The Maral and others say you should have 5 cups. It's not the halacha, it's not what we do, but there's such an opinion. So it wasn't inappropriate to begin learning Hilchos Pesach last week. It was in the Parsha, so that's what we were doing. We were, as the Alter Rebbe said, we were leben mit der Zeit. We were living with the times. We were learning Hilchos Pesach, Parshas Ve'era, and of course this week we continue Parshas Boy, which is more of Pesach. So we're learning Hilchos Pesach. So what we were talking about specifically, what we concluded last week in Halacha Yud Dalet, Halacha 14, was when is there a halachic requirement to recline? When does that requirement take place? So we said as follows in Halacha Yud Dalet. We'll just go over this again quickly. When you ate the matzah, upon the matzah that you say the bracha v'alachilas matzah, you have to recline then. When you eat the koirech sandwich, you have to recline the koirech. So it's matzah koirech. And when you eat afikoimen, that's the 3rd thing. And when you drink the 4 cups, so it's 4 times. Really, the 4 cups, we'll just count them as 1 time for now, but it's really 4 separate times, right? So when you eat the matzah, when you eat the koirech sandwich, when you eat the afikoimen, that's 3. Plus another 4 times for each cup. That's a total of 7 times during the Seder. We are required halachically to recline. What is the purpose of reclining? It's to give a visible demonstration of cheiros, of freedom. And therefore, when we understand that the reason for the reclining is to demonstrate cheiros, freedom, so it becomes self-explanatory when someone inevitably at your Seder says, do I have to recline during the moror? So the answer obviously is, of course not. That's not cheiros. That's not freedom. On the contrary, the moror is all about slavery. So certainly you don't recline then. Same thing with the karpas and so forth. In fact, in Halacha Yud Daled, it even mentions explicitly here in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, Parshas Va'era, which we had last week. So that was mamish a connection to the Parsha. However, the Alter Rebbe concluded, and this is where we wrapped up last week, that you are not required to recline the rest of the Seder, not the rest of the meal, not the Shulchan Aruch at all. You don't have to recline at all. However, if you want to, you could. We just don't require it. However, he concluded that if you do recline through the entire Su'udah at the Seder, Harei zeh meshubach, that's very praiseworthy. Va'oisa mitzvah min amuvchar, and you're doing the mitzvah in the best, most choice manner. I don't think we do that. I've never met anybody that reclines for the entire Seder or the entire meal, but it says here, Harei zeh meshubach, it's praiseworthy if you do. So certainly we're not going to fault the person if they want to do some extra reclining. Okay, that's where we left off last week. It's good. So now holding by halacha tesvav again. We're in the Shulchan Aruch HaRav Siman Tofayin Beis. Halacha tesvav. Kol misha tzorich lahosif. Anyone is required to recline, and they come to one of the four things, or seven if you count the four cups separately. One of the four times when they're supposed to recline during the Seder, but they ate or they drank the required food, whether it's the matzah or the koydach or the afikomen or the 4 cups of wine, and they did not recline. They forgot, I guess. What do? Do you have to do it again? So the answer is that it's going to get a little bit complicated, maybe. But the main halacha is yes, you need to eat again, whatever the matzah is or whatever it was you ate. You need to drink the cup again if you didn't recline. That's the ikar halacha. Aval, but, however, it's not so simple. However, since there's opinion that says, this is the opinion of the Mordechai, which we mentioned this opinion last week, and it's a key opinion to remember, this following opinion. They say that nowadays we don't recline at all. There's no requirement to recline. So therefore, therefore we can rely on this opinion that if you did eat or drink that particular item during the Seder without reclining, you can rely on them that you did fulfill the mitzvah. Certainly, if you have guests at the Seder, etc., they ask you, I have to recline again. So we should know about this opinion that they did do the mitzvah if they didn't recline. Nevertheless, mikol mokim, le'inyan achilas matzah, which is doraisa, toiv lahachmer lachzor v'lechel behaseba. That you really should eat again while reclining. We want to be extra strict in the doraisa mitzvah, so we require you to recline for the matzah. Same thing, v'chein le'inyan kosheni. Not the first, third, or fourth, but the second cup. If you forgot to recline, im shasa, and we're going to get into the reasons why, God willing. Im shasa beloya seba. If you drank the second cup without reclining, yachzav ishta beseba. Drink it again. You don't need to say a bracha, by the way, a second time. Why not? Because it's understood that the second cup precedes the meal at the Seder. And you very well might want to drink more wine during the meal, which is fairly common to do that. Person wants to have an extra glass of wine, let's say, during their meal. I don't know if you should do that on Pesach, because maybe stay awake still for the rest of the night. But let's say, you can handle it. So you want to have another cup of wine. No problem. That's just part of the Suda. That's not a problem. So there's no requirement to say another bracha for that cup of wine. So after the second cup, you should drink it again while reclining if you forgot to recline. That's the second cup. Why? Because it's understood that you're going to be, or you very well might be drinking more after the second cup during the meal. Therefore, you don't have to say a bracha on that extra cup or cups. And therefore, what that means is that it will not appear as if you're moisif al minyan hakoisos, as if you're adding extra cups to the 4 cups. We don't want to add extra cups in 4 cups. The Chazal said 4, so we do 4. But that's only the second cup. The first, third, and fourth cup is more complicated. And we're going to see now why it's more complicated. Avol, but im shasa kais rishon, oy shlishi, oy revi'i, beloy haseba. But if you drank the first, third, or fourth cup without reclining, not so simple. Even though by the second cup we said you should drink again, no bracha, no bar gofen. But in the case of the first, third, and fourth, ein loy lachzer v'lishtoyse beseba. No, don't do it again. Rely on the opinion that we mentioned before, the opinion of the Mordechai that says that nobody reclines. So if you didn't recline, you did the mitzvah. We're going to rely on that opinion. Why not just drink after your first cup? Let's say you forgot to recline. No, so big deal. So drink again. What's the big deal? This is going to explain. You're going to have to say another bracha now. You're going to have to say bar piagofen again after the first, third, or fourth cup. Why? Because it's not customary. People don't drink between the first and second cup. And likewise, they don't drink Min hadin also loylishus mitam shizbar b'simun tofayin tes. And between the third and fourth cup, it's actually forbidden to drink. Why? As it says in Simun tofayin tes. Take a quick look if you want. Simun tofayin tes. It's in Sif Gimel. We don't want to become intoxicated. Simun tofayin tes Sif Gimel. After you drink the third cup, it is forbidden to drink any other wine or any other intoxicating beverage until the fourth cup. Why? You're going to get drunk and you'll pass out, you'll fall asleep, and you don't finish the Seder. You didn't finish saying Hallel, etc. So you're actually not allowed to drink between the third and fourth cup at all. So if you were to drink, you would for sure have to say a bracha. And then it looks like you're adding on the number of cups. Furthermore, you're not even supposed to drink anything at all, really, other than water, between the third and fourth cup. You don't want to remove the taste of the afikomen. So you shouldn't really drink anything other than water after the third cup. So that's why you can't drink after the third cup. Likewise, after the fourth cup, you're also not supposed to drink after the fourth cup. Why? Also, not allowed to drink more, as it says in Tafei Aleph. Take a look over there, because there's after the fourth cup, you're supposed to stay up all night. Yeah, it says in Tafei Aleph, after the fourth cup, don't drink more wine or any other intoxicating beverage. Why? There's a mitzvah of Sipur Yosef Mitzrayim. Got to stay up the whole night learning Hilchos Pesach and talking about Yitzis Mitzrayim. It's the Rosh. That's from the Rosh. It's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch, and the Shulchan HaRav we see it here. You're supposed to stay up the whole night as long as you can until you just fall asleep from tiredness, not fall asleep from intoxication. So no drinking after the fourth cup. Vimkain, and if that's the case, that you're not allowed, it's not customary to drink between the first and second cup, and you're forbidden to drink after the third cup, and it's forbidden to drink after the fourth cup, then if we would say that you drank the first, third, or fourth cup and you didn't recline, and now we want you to drink again, you would now have to make a new Bari Priyagofen, as we're going to see now. Vimkain, B'shasha Beidach al kol kois mishlosh kois zelu beloy aseba. If you said a bracha on one of those three cups and then you did not recline, and then and now you say, oh, I wasn't going to drink after the third cup, but I forgot to recline, and the rabbi told me I have to drink again while reclining. But since I was not going to drink after the third cup, that means that my bracha that I made before the third cup only covers the third cup. So then now you're called nimloch. You've changed your mind. Now you're going to drink? You have to say a bracha. A new bari piagofen. And what's the problem with saying a new bracha bari piagofen? Alter Rebbe spells it out. You will appear as if you're adding to the four cups that the Chachamim established. And that you're not allowed to do. Therefore, lochein, tov yoiser shaloi lachzor v'lishtes v'lismech ala oimrim shebezman hazeh ein tzorich lahosiv klal. Therefore, the best thing is after the first, third, and fourth cup, that if you forgot to recline, just don't drink again, and rely on the Mordechai who says that nowadays nobody reclines anyway. So he did the mitzvah, did the Dalet Kaisos. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Mitol mokim. Nevertheless, here it gets more complicated. Lechatchila. The best thing, if you really want to do it the best way, is toiv sheyeh b'daitoi b'tchilas haseba. You should have in mind before you drink, before you recline. Koidim shemavarech al kois rishon. You should have in mind before you make Kiddush that, you know what? I very well may drink more after the first cup, relying on the bracha that I made at Kiddush. And then, then even if I forgot to recline for the first cup, aka Kiddush, nevertheless, I could drink again. It's not a problem because I had in mind that I might drink again. You don't have to make a bracha. You could just have another cup. It will not appear as if you're adding cups because you didn't say a bracha. So what effectively comes out is the best way, he says, to do things is before you make Kiddush, have in mind, I might drink or I will drink. If I feel like drinking after the first cup, I will. Then if you forget to recline, you could drink more cups because I had it in mind anyway. And you're not required to make a new bracha. So it's an interesting chap. It's not even that you're drinking a second cup after Kiddush. He says it's hakoil shtia achasi. It's really just one drinking. Just move sekes l'shnayim. You did it at two separate times. You drank the cup of Kiddush, then you went, oh no, I forgot to recline. Let me fill it up again and drink again. That's not even two cups. That's one drinking, and you paused in between. So it's really just one cup, a big cup. Two drinkings with a pause in between. That's lechatchila the best way to do things. Between the first cup at least. Okay, good. Comments, questions? Okay. Halacha Tezayin. This is an important halacha. I mean, they're all important halachas, but it's not just drink 4 cups. It's drink 4 cups al haseder. Everything follows a process. You got to honor the process. You can't just say 4 cups, 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't work. That's like 1 cup, basically. That's like one drinking that you split into 4 parts, like we had before. One drinking split into 2. So if you just, so to speak, pound 4 glasses of wine, you'll be drunk, but you did not do the mitzvah of dalet kosos. As we'll see now. You have to drink the 4 cups al ha-seder. What's the Seder? Well, we're familiar with the Seder, right? Quite literally. Dahainu, shebein kois rishon l'sheni, uvein shlishi l'revi yafsik b'midas hagodah v'halo. You're going to have the Haggadah. After the second cup, you have the Haggadah. Right? The first cup is Kiddush. Second cup, then we recite the Haggadah. And the Halal. Ubein sheni l'shlishi yafsik b'chilas matzah because hamozin. Then you have eating the matzah and you have benching. And the third cup goes after benching. And if you did not do it in this manner, in this order, meaning basically in plain English, following what it says in your Haggadah to do, Ella, rather, but you decided instead, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Shosa dalid koisei ze achar ze. You just drank 4 cups, one after the other. Loy yotza yedei dalid koiseis. That's not the 4 cups. What is it? Alakula nechshavin loy lekois echod. That's 1 cup. So you drink 1 cup. So if you drink 4 cups in a row, that's 1 cup. You still have to drink 3 more. The chayav lishta is oid gimel koises ala seder shizbar. You'd have to drink another 3 on the proper seder, right? The second cup for magi, the third for benching, and the fourth for the conclusion. Yud zayin kol echad medal koises halol tzarich shiyah by loy pachas miravis yain la'achshim zugenu. Every cup has to have a minimum size. What is the minimum size? It has to have not less than a revi'is of wine. How much exactly is that? I believe the smallest measurement is like 3 point something ounces, I believe. The Shiv of Chaim Na. Some say it's more like 5 ounces. There's different opinions. Imu yain chazak, tzarech meziga, b'shir meziga. Okay, this is, we'll skip this because there's not so much, I'll read it anyway, I guess, but talking about the wine that they used to have to dilute. We don't do that now. Now you just go buy a nice bottle of wine and you drink it and that's it. You don't have to dilute the wine. But in the old days, they had yain chazak, shetzarech meziga, they had to dilute the wine. V'shir meziga u'lefidasa shoyser, how much wine do you have to dilute it with? Depends who's drinking. It has to be that it's areva, has to be sweet, has to be enjoyable. If If you drank it without diluting, and again, it's not so relevant today. So if you drank the wine that was too harsh, you fulfilled the mitzvah of the wine. You didn't fulfill the mitzvah of cherus. Okay, fine. Wine nowadays, we don't need to dilute. Let's move on. Yudches. Actually, I wanted to skip this one as well. This just tells us the technical way how to measure the exact size of the cup. But you go buy a cup, recommended, as we'll see in the next halacha, we're going to come out with a recommendation to buy a small cup rather than some, if you have this is my teacup right now. This is, I don't know how many ounces this is, but this would be a big cup to drink a lot of wine. And we're going to see in the next halacha, the lechatchila should drink the whole cup. Lechatchila. So we're going to get to that now. Okay, so Yudches we're going to skip. Again, that's just based on the Gemara and Pesachim that talks about how to measure the size of the cup. Yudtes. Yesh oimrim. There is an opinion that Ramban Shlachatchila mitzvah lishtois kol hakois. The lechatchila, the best way to do the mitzvah of the dalet koises is to drink the entire cup, regardless of the size of that cup. Afilu machzi kamer v'iyos. Even if it holds numerous revis, let's just go make it easy, is 3 ounces or 4 ounces, whatever. A 12-ounce cup, which would be like 3 revis. L'chatchila, according to the Ramban, and we see here the opinion is brought in Shulchan Aruch, brought here Shulchan HaRav. L'chatchila, if you should drink the entire cup, afal pi shebekiddush shor yomim tovim v'shabbosos, even though on a different day, a different Shabbos, on a regular Shabbos, or on a different yantif, you don't have to drink the entire cup. Not at all. Just drink what's maloi lugmov. Dahainu roiv revis. Maloi lugmov means a cheekful, which is, he says, roiv revis, the majority of a revis. Again, let's say revis is 4 ounces. So the roiv of 4 ounces is 2.1 ounces. It's not so much. So on Shabbos, just drink roiv revis. Yom Tov, drink roiv revis. But comes Pesach, mikol mokim, bedaled koiser shel Pesach hechmiru chachomim. The chachomim were stringent when it came to Pesach, and they require us lishtos kol kois lechatchila. Ideally, we're drinking the entire cup, regardless of the size. So if you have a family heirloom that's a massive goblet, maybe it's nice to use a family heirloom. Maybe use it for the kosher leliyo instead, maybe. I actually have a cup like that. I have a beautiful silver goblet that I got from my bar mitzvah, from my grandmother. A beautiful, ornate, styled goblet, but it's massive. You can never drink it. I use it for the kosher leliyo. You put it on the table, that's kosher leliyo. But since lechatchila should drink the entire cup, then, at least lechatchila, the best thing is going to be to take a small cup. But b'di'evid, however, that's the lechatchila halacha. You should drink the whole cup, regardless of the size. But b'di'evid sheshasa roiv hakois yotza. At least as long as you drink the majority, 51% of the cup, regardless of the size, then you fulfill your obligation. Avalim loy shasa ela chatzi hakois. If you drank only half, meaning not 51%, but 50% of the cup, afilu shachatzi machzi kamer v'iyos, even if that half itself is 10 ounces. A 20-ounce cup, lo yotza. So it's very critical, to the best of our ability, to drink the whole cup, or at least to know at least the majority of the cup we should drink, at least. Or tell the people at our Seder, etc. We don't have to be overly strict on people at our Seder necessarily, especially if you have lots of guests or whatever. You don't have to go crazy about it. But at least to tell people, drink 51% of your cup, at least. Then we know you're for sure yotzi like that. However, we have an argument, a dissenting opinion, and they say, even lechatchila, you don't have to drink the whole thing, and not even half the thing, not even half the cup. That even if it's a massive cup, you don't have to drink the whole cup. You don't have to drink the half cup, or 51%. All you have to do is drink a roiv revis like on a regular Shabbos or Yontif. V'chein ikr, v'chein haminag pashut. That's the ikr. That's the minhag. As long as they drink a roiv revis. So we could be even more make it like this. But if we're able to, we should drink the whole cup for sure. The Ramban, we should drink the whole cup. If you can't drink the whole cup, no. So drink just over half the cup. And as we're going to see in the next halacha as well, you could drink the whole cup in a couple stops along the way if you need to. So if you drink, meaning if a person's not able to swallow the full 4 ounces, they can't gulp it down. That's the way to do it. If they can't do that, they could drink 51%. And we're going to see in the next halacha, and by the way, they could drink 51%, then they could just drink the rest. It doesn't have to necessarily be all at once. The chatchila should be all at once, but if it's not, okay, we're fine like that too. Even though the Alter Rebbe just concluded that that you only have to drink a roiv revis, which again is something like 2 ounces or so, give or take, not that much. Nevertheless, and even though he says that's the minhag, but we should take into account the first opinion, the opinion of the Ramban, who requires us lechatchila to drink the entire cup. So what's the practical advice here? We should take into account the first svara that says you have to drink the whole cup, and therefore katan. Take a small cup. Obviously, it still has to be enough to hold a shiur, a revis. Take a small cup, kuloi, and drink the whole thing. And if wine is very expensive, then you don't have to drink the whole cup. You drink just over half of it, and save the rest of it for the second cup. But nowadays, people intentionally buy expensive wine. I guess if a person is poor and they can't afford the wine, so they have a little bit less wine, they don't necessarily have to drink the whole cup. Drink 51% and save the rest for another cup. And that applies to all the cups. I'm sorry, this opinion that says you could just drink roiv revis. Roiv revis is 2 some ounces. That only applies, by the way, this heter, or I don't know if you want to call it a heter, but this opinion, that you only have to drink roiv revis is only by the first 3 cups, but not by the 4th cup. Why not? But by the final cup, there you have to drink not a roiv revis, but you have to drink tzarech lishos revis sholem. You have to drink the full revis. Why? How is the 4th manishtana, the 4th cup from the first 3 cups? Simple. Because you're supposed to make a bracha achroina after the 4th cup. How are you going to make a bracha achroina if maybe 2 ounces is not enough? Maybe different opinions about that. As he says, so it's going to depend. It gets a little more complicated when we're determining the bracha achroina for something. So if I only drink by the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd cups a roiv revis, we should know there's an opinion that you fulfilled your obligation, even with only a roiv revis. We're going to try the chatchila drink the whole cup, or at least 51% of the cup. But if we don't even drink that, okay, good. Especially if you see if someone's having a hard time with it, they're hard for them to drink. I know some people they can't drink it. It's hard for them to drink it. I'm not sure exactly. Some people even grape juice. They find it hard to drink 4 ounces of grape juice. It's hard to drink. I don't know. So we should know there's more lenient opinions. But by the 4th cup, we lose a little bit of that leniency because of the requirement to say a bracha achroina afterwards. So by the 4th cup, really we should be drinking a revius sholem, a whole revius, not the revius. Good. Comments, questions? Okay. Now, I mentioned that in Halacha Chaf now, we're going to talk about not the size of the cup and not how much of it we should drink, but how long we have to drink that cup. The best thing is you got to drink it bevas achas. Interesting here, he says roiv haravis, not the whole cup. Roiv haravis, the majority of that revis, meaning the 2 point something ounces or whatever it is, bevas achas. What does it mean bevas achas? Dahainu sheyishte oisei b'shtia achas. Drink it once in one gulp. Don't pause and separate into 2 sips. Interesting halacha. I don't think most of us are going to worry about this at the Seder. because we have whether you have a nice silver cup or a glass cup or whatever you use for the Seder exactly. But if you take a cup with, like this cup actually, I don't know if this would count exactly, it's narrower at the top. I don't think this is considered a narrow cup exactly, but if you had almost like a chemistry, huh?
A big shot glass.
Well, if the point is that if the opening is narrow, then we have a problem. Why? You have the same thing by Natilas Yadayim, by the way. Same thing by Natilas. You're not supposed to wash Natilas Yadayim with a cup that has a very narrow. Like sometimes if you ever see somebody take like a Poland spring bottle and want to wash Natilas Yadayim with that, it's not so simple to do that. Why? Because the water gets bottlenecked, literally, and doesn't come out enough water at once necessarily to cover your hand with enough water all at once. So similarly, perhaps here he's saying that you know what a klug glass is? It's a cup with a narrow opening. That's a klug glass. Why? Because it's so narrow of an opening that when you drink it, the liquid doesn't come flowing out quickly enough for you to be able to drink a reiv reviz b'vas achas. However, b'diavad, important to know, especially at your Seder, if you have lots of guests, whatever it may be, even if you made multiple interruptions while drinking that wine, it's still okay. But for ourselves, to the best of our ability, if we can, we want to drink number one, the entire cup, that's halacha yud tes, and number two, halacha chof, all at once. Now, the caveat is as follows: V'hu you can't stretch it out for 25 minutes. That you can't do. How long is a kedei achilas pras? How long is that? I don't know. There's different opinions. 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 9 minutes. There's different opinions how long it is. But it's for sure not 25 minutes. And there's an opinion that says, which is a shorter amount of time. That from the moment you start drinking it to when you finish drinking the proper amount of wine, it shouldn't even be more than Kadesh Shtiyas Revis. Again, less of a time. We should be machmer to drink it quicker for the first 2 cups. Namely, she'im hifzi kol kach be'emtza shtiya ad sheyesh mitchilas hashtiya tzeifa yoyzim Kadesh Shtiyas Revis. That if you pause for 2, again, how long exactly is this? A minute, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes? I'm not sure exactly. There's different opinions about that. That if you waited too long, then sort of lachs of lichos, below brach, you'd have to drink it again. That's the first 2 cups. By the last 2 cups, we have a different problem. If we're going to require you to drink again, then you'll have to say a bracha, and therefore it will appear as if you're adding to the number of cups. So for that, therefore, we rely on the longer amount of time that we have to drink. So again, I didn't look up what all the different shittas of.
I still confused. There's persons that one's between, it's a big jump between one shot and then a few minutes.
Yeah.
When we started drinking,
Started.
You have to start drinking, but otherwise it's actually be the problem.
Right.
So,
From the moment you start drinking. That's what he says. From when you start drinking until when you finish drinking. By the way, when we say take the cup, drink it all at once, it doesn't mean one gulp. That's not possible.
I know that it seems to be one swallow. It seems to be implied that. So that it's this.
But you can't drink 4 ounces in one swallow.
Yeah.
But it means without stopping, without putting your glass down, so to speak, in the middle, without pausing in the middle. And at our Seder, I always tell the kids, okay, have your napkin here, because you're going to, like, you have to most recline, you're drinking the whole thing, and the whole cup. Okay, don't spill it all over yourself. That's a separate problem. What happens if after the bracha you spill the wine? That's a whole separate problem. Okay, halacha chaf aleph. Someone who never drinks wine. You hate wine. Or the wine damages you. It hurts you, I guess. Nevertheless, you're required to push yourself to drink 4 cups. Like the Chachomim said in the Gemara and the Dorim about Rabbi Yehuda but Rabbi Eloi, that what did he do? He would drink the 4 cups even though it messed him up. He wrapped his head and put a bandage around his head or something like that until Shavuos, 7 weeks later. So we see from Rabbi Yehuda but Rabbi Eloi that even if the wine is going to damage you a little bit, it hurts, you should drink it anyway. That's how important it is to drink the wine. Now, by the way, we didn't mention also that when it came to the shiur of the cup that we mentioned before, the revius, that applies for chinuch as well, certainly. For your children that are the age of chinuch, we also should be giving them the proper size, which we're going to see in Halacha Chaf Hey. We're going to get to that later. But even yeah, okay. Where is see it? Yeah, I don't see what I was looking for now. Okay. Okay, I lost it. Okay, Chav Beis. Havol Kiddush shel Sha'ar Yamim Tovim v'Shabbosos, but Kiddush on other holidays and Shabbos, Ein Sorech Lidchok as Atzmei Lishtos HaKois, you don't have to drink. Ela Yochel Lishmoya Kiddush Me'acher, Commissions Borsim in Ayin Reish Beis, which we, a little while ago, we learned some of those halachas over there, the halachas of Kiddush. You don't have to drink. You don't have to drink the wine for Kiddush, not a problem. Mashenkin Ba'arba Koshel Pesach, but Pesach is different. Pesach is different. We are all required to drink Daled Koisos. And of course, the first cup of the 4 cups is Kiddush. So mitzad Kiddush, I don't need to drink the wine. But mitzad Daled Koisos, I do. So even someone who's not making Kiddush, or women who wouldn't normally drink it necessarily, are chayav to drink the cup of Kiddush, and they can't have someone else do it for them. You have to actually drink the 4 cups. So even though on other Shabbos you could just hear Kiddush from someone else, no problem. Even all the people, the members of the household that are hearing Kiddush and they're hearing the Haggadah from their father, from the Balabais, nevertheless, you got to drink 4 cups anyway. And some of the minhag that everybody makes Kiddush. The women make Kiddush, the men make Kiddush, the children make Kiddush. Everyone makes Kiddush for themselves at the Seder. You could do it if it takes too long, you could do it all together, however you like to do it. But it's important that everybody has to drink the 4 cups, which includes the cup of Kiddush. Now, Chav Gimel, what do you do? Something happens and you can't make the Seder right away. Really, like we learned earlier, that you should set your table. I think that was the first halakha we did in halacha Aleph. Yeah. Halacha Aleph was Yeheshel Chana Aruch mi ba'oijoim. You should have your table set before Pesach starts. On Erev Pesach, you should have the table set. Although this year, it's not so posh to have to set your table Erev Pesach. Because Erev Pesach is Shabbos. You can't prepare from Shabbos till after Shabbos. You cannot set the table Shabbos afternoon, unless you have a separate room or something like that. If you have a separate room, we're going to have the Seder. You could set it Friday, Erev Pesach. That you could do. Or sometimes you have a heter if there's a big public Seder or something. One year that I went to Russia when I was a bacher, it was like this year. It was Erev Pesach with Shabbos. We were making the Seder in some public school somewhere, and we had some local Gentiles that were going to help with the setting up and whatever it was. And I remember Ber Lazar, the chief rabbi of Russia, the head shlich of Russia, came to speak to all the Bachrim. We all flew into Moscow, and from Moscow we all flew out to different locations across Russia. And Ber Lazar came and he spoke and he fabrenged a little bit. And one thing I remember he said was that you could tell the Gentiles to prepare and set the tables on Shabbos for Motzei Shabbos, which is the Seder. Why? Because there are two dirabonans, right? There's a dirabonan of a mirla nocher. You're not allowed to tell a Gentile to do something for you on Shabbos. That's a dirabonan. Number two, hachana, preparing for after Shabbos, is also a dirabonan. So it's two dirabonans, and it's b'mokim tzorich, b'mokim mitzvah. It was a big public Seder. It starts setting only once Shabbos ends. It also was very late there. The Seder was it was a complicated Seder also because we did things a little bit out of order. I mean, with the guidance of the Rav, but started so late. It was like Seis was like 9:30 or 9:45 or something like that. So can't eat the matzah before then, can't drink the wine before then. I think we started earlier, doing karpas, or I don't remember exactly. I might have somewhere a list of how we did it, but in any event, what I'm trying to say, halacha chav gimel, that you're supposed to set the table before Pesach starts. Why? That way when you come home, there's no wasting time. You start the Seder, don't waste time. Why do we not want to waste time? So the kid shouldn't fall asleep, right? So if for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, but if for some reason you're not able to make the Seder immediately at night, I don't know, something happened, I'm not sure. The kid's saying, Tati, I'm hungry. I'm starving. First of all, of course, Chachamim of Berosha. So make sure you give the kids a piece of chicken and snacks during the day so they're not saying I'm starving. Make sure they eat. They eat a pregame, pre-dinner. Make sure they have and they take a nap. And as I think we learned, we mentioned last week in one of the shiurim that you're allowed to take a nap on Shabbos for after Shabbos. You're just not allowed to say that that's why you're taking a nap. So we could definitely take a nap this year on Erev Pesach, which is Shabbos. You're just not allowed to say that I'm napping in order that I should be awake by the Seder. But could do it anyway, encourage our kids to do it. And give them dinner in advance or some food. But they want to eat, they're starving. Even though you could give them food before they hear Kiddush, and you could give them food before they hear the Haggadah, the Seder, the story. But don't leave the food there. Don't let them eat a lot. Why? Because when you eat a lot, you get tired. They shouldn't fall asleep. So maybe you shouldn't give them lechem oini. Shouldn't give them matzah. Because tough ein aleph is where is it? Let's see. Yeah, if they're old enough that they know the story of Tzis Mitzrayim more and they understand the story, then giving them matzah early, it says, is not supposed to do it. Okay, in any event, the point is that if their mom is starving, you don't have to starve your kids. If they're hungry, no, she can give them something to eat. Okay, maybe we'll pause there. Comments or questions? Okay, let's pause there, and God willing, we'll continue next time. Mitzvah Shem.